ASPI rejects 100% factory operation before herd immunity is formed. Following the coverage, the president of the Confederation of Indonesian Trade Unions, KSPI, said Iqbal said that the level of transmission of COVID-19 in companies is currently starting to decline. Based on a questionnaire to 400 respondents, the transmission rate of COVID-19 in clusters is in the range of 10%, now it is only 5%. It has decreased, but it's still there. From our data, the mortality rate is also decreasing. What used to be an average of 2 weeks 10 to 20 people died, now 2 to 4 people, said Iqbal. Local brand Derigo represents Indonesia at New York Fashion Week. Following the coverage, local fashion brand Derigo will hold a fashion show at New York Fashion Week, NYFW, 2022 in September. Welcoming 10 years of working in the fashion industry, Ergo became the first Indonesian brand to have the opportunity to represent Indonesia at the biggest fashion show. CEO and founder Ergo Muhammad Sadat said this was an opportunity to introduce the works of Indonesian sons to a much wider market. So we happened to have a team there that held Fashion Week several times as well. We see this is an opportunity for us. I want to try doing more. Of course, with the support from Shopee, we can be there, said Sadat. AK Textile Solo ready to print competent textile HR. Following the coverage, as a textile expert printer, AK Textile Solo accepts new students. By introducing campus life, students will adapt to a new environment. AK Textile Solo is a textile education under the Ministry of Industry. The Introduction to Campus Life for New Students, PKKMB. AK Textile Solo 2021 carries the theme of tough HR, mentally strong and ready to work. PKKMB Student Executive Chair Anissa Zarani Sofwan said new students must become mature and independent individuals and be able to adapt to the environment with all its changes. AK Textile Solo is still conducting online lectures. This change in learning activities needs to be adapted by students, especially with the new environment. Students must also have a good attitude and role model, said Anissa. In front of Commission 7, Minister of Industry describes 3 priority programs for next year. Following the coverage, the indicative ceiling of the Ministry of Industry, Kemenperin, for 2022 is set at 2.61 trillion Indonesian rupiahs, with details on personnel spending of 797 billion Indonesian rupiahs, operational spending of 360.26 billion Indonesian rupiahs, non-operational spending of 1.45 trillion Indonesian rupiahs, education function of 982 billion Indonesian rupiahs, and economic function of 1 Indonesian rupiah. 62 trillion. The 3 priority programs of the Ministry of Industry for the 2022 budget year include vocational education and training programs, value-added programs and industrial competitiveness, and management support programs. Exports from Tangerang Regency begins to grow in 2021. Following the coverage, the export trend of several commodities from a number of companies in Tangerang Regency to a number of countries has revived. This is at least reflected in data from the Tangerang Regency Industry and Trade Office, Disperindag, which recorded the export value in 2021 reaching Rp 22 trillion. An increase of around Rp 800 billion in the previous year, which recorded a figure of Rp 21.2 trillion. Commodities of footwear, processed foods, textiles and textile products, plastic goods and sugar are again exported by a number of companies in Tangerang Regency to various export destination countries such as China, the United States, US, England, Japan, Korea, Thailand, Australia, Malaysia, Philippines, and India.